The storyteller says, "He asked me one simple question. Are you home alone?" I was just 12 years old. What was supposed to be a fun night of pizza and video games turned into the most terrifying experience of my life, and I'm still not sure how I made it out unharmed. When I was 12, my mom had just started trusting me enough to leave me home alone. We lived in a small, quiet, and safe town. Peaceful streets, friendly neighbors, and a cozy shopping plaza with a few stores and restaurants nearby. It wasn't the kind of place where you looked over your shoulder at night. That's why my parents thought I'd be fine. We still live in that same house today. It was a weekend night when my parents decided to leave me home alone overnight for the first time. My older sister was away for some reason, and since I was old enough, they figured I didn't need a babysitter. My parents were very social and usually out with friends on the weekends. They left me $20 to order pizza, the perfect night for a 12 or 13-year-old. House to myself, video games all night, and pizza for dinner. Back then, I was obsessed with James Bond games. That night, I was playing Nightfire on my PlayStation 2 for the third time. After I beat the game again, I ordered a regular pizza from a place called Gianni's just a few blocks away. It's closed now. I could easily eat 3 slices on my own, and my mom had reminded me to wrap up the leftovers and stick them in the fridge. While waiting, I switched to another James Bond game, Agent Under Fire. Not as good, but still fun. When the doorbell rang, I rushed downstairs with the $20 bill. My mom told me to tip $4. It wasn't a long delivery, so it was fair. The man at the door was probably in his 30s. He looked tired, with a long, dirty beard, wearing a black trucker hat and glasses. I gave him the money and asked for change, but instead of handing it over, he looked past me into the house and asked, "Are you home alone?" I knew that was a weird and dangerous question. My parents had warned me about strangers, so I quickly replied, "No, my parents are on their way back." A stupid answer. I could have just said no, but I realized why he asked. There were no cars in the driveway, and I was just a kid answering the door alone. I took the pizza, closed the door, ate 3 slices, wrapped the rest in foil, and put it in the fridge. Then I went back upstairs to play. Around 11 p.m., hours later, the doorbell rang again. Naturally, I thought my parents were back. I rushed to the door and called out, "Mom? Dad?" But instead, a strange male voice answered, "I need help." He said he needed to use the phone. I asked, "Who are you?" But he just repeated the same thing. I was terrified. I didn't even want to look through the window. I ran upstairs instead, knowing opening that door would be the dumbest thing I could do. As I climbed the stairs, which faced the front door, I heard loud knocking, and the man yelled, "Wait, please, I need help." That meant he saw me. He was watching me through the glass panel above the door. I turned and saw his silhouette. I couldn't make out his eyes, but he was clearly staring at me. I sprinted to my parents' bedroom, the only room upstairs with a phone, and called my mom. I didn't have my dad's number memorized. She answered, sounding slightly buzzed, but when I told her a man was at the door trying to get in, her tone changed immediately. She asked if I had spoken to him or if he knew I was alone. I told her the truth. Then she asked, "Is there anyone else who knows you're home alone?" And I remembered the pizza guy. I told her he had asked me that exact question. Just then, the doorbell rang 2 more times. I was panicking, telling my mom that the man wouldn't leave. She told me to stay in the room and lock the door. She and my dad were calling the police. She kept me on the line while my dad called 911 from his phone. They stepped out of the restaurant to get better reception. The windows were cracked open for fresh air, and I suddenly heard the gate to our backyard slowly creaking open. I told my mom. She told me to stay completely silent and keep the lights off. I whispered, "What if he tries to come in through the living room window?" She told me to stay quiet and wait. She kept whispering reassurances. "Police are on the way. Don't move." I was calming down a little until I heard footsteps downstairs. Someone was inside the house. I whispered it to my mom, and I heard her suddenly scream, probably into the other phone, telling the police to hurry. Then she told me, "Hide under the bed, don't make a sound." For a 12-year-old, this was the scariest moment of my life. The only thing between me and that man was a flimsy lock on the bedroom door. I heard the stairs creaking. He was coming up. I think he was checking my room, then my sister's, then slow footsteps toward my parents' room. The doorknob jiggled. The door was locked. Then a soft knock. He didn't speak. He turned the knob again, then walked away. I heard him go back down the stairs, then silence. I held my breath, trying not to cry, not even a whisper. My mom told me the police were outside. Still, I didn't move. Then I heard heavy footsteps and a man's voice calling my name. He said he was with the police. My mom told me to open the door. I did, and there were 2 officers upstairs and 2 more downstairs. They didn't need to break in because the back door was wide open. So were the sliding windows. I told them everything, including my suspicion about the pizza guy. When my parents came home, 2 cops stayed behind. The next day, we went to the pizza place so I could identify the man. He wasn't there. When they asked the manager, he said, "I think you mean Phil, but he's out on a delivery." After my parents explained the situation, the manager said, "There's no way that was Phil." And then he told us to leave. My parents argued with the manager and promised never to order from them again. We waited in the car for almost an hour, but Phil never came back. My parents believed the manager had warned him not to return. They tried getting legal help, but no lawyer would take the case. No proof, no charges, just a waste of time. We never ordered from that place again, and my parents didn't leave me alone in the house for a long time after that. And I still believe, if anyone knew I was home alone that night, it was the pizza guy. The thing in the basement. I was 9 years old when I heard my name coming from the basement, but I was home alone, and no one was supposed to be down there. This happened when I was 9. My mom was working a night shift at the hospital, and my older brother was at a sleepover. So it was just me and my dad at home. It was a rainy Friday night. My dad had ordered Chinese food and was watching some old action movie in the living room. I was upstairs in my room playing with Legos and listening to music on my iPod. At around 10 p.m., the power flickered. The lights didn't fully go out, but they dimmed for a few seconds, enough to make me nervous. A minute later, my music paused. I looked down and realized my iPod had died. So I got up to go plug it in. As I walked toward the hallway, I heard it. A voice, faint and low, calling my name. Max. It came from downstairs. I froze. At first, I thought maybe it was my dad, maybe calling me for food or to help with something. I called back, "Yeah?" No answer. I leaned over the banister and called again, louder, "Dad!" Still nothing. Now I was nervous. I slowly walked down the stairs. The lights were still on, but everything looked a little darker, maybe from the storm outside. When I reached the bottom, I looked toward the living room, but it was empty. The TV was on, food on the table, but my dad wasn't there. That's when I heard it again. Max. This time, clearer, louder, coming directly from the basement door. I whispered, "Dad?" No reply. I walked toward the basement, slowly. My heart was pounding. The door was cracked open, and the light inside was off. I was about to call out again, but something stopped me. I smelled something. Like damp clothes and something rotting. The kind of smell that doesn't belong in a house. I stood there for a moment. Then I heard a loud creak, a step on the wooden basement stairs. Then again, "Max," whispered right near the top of the stairs. I slammed the door shut and locked it. I didn't care if it was my dad or not. I ran upstairs and called him from the home phone. He answered quickly and said he had gone to the gas station just 10 minutes away and would be back soon. I told him everything. He rushed home. When he got there, he unlocked the basement door and went down with a flashlight. No one was there. No signs of a break-in, but something had definitely been moving down there. A box of tools had been knocked over, and the smell still there. My dad said maybe it was just a pipe leak or mold, but I never believed that. Because the voice, it wasn't my dad's voice. The man behind the window. My sister screamed at me to shut the blinds because someone was standing at the window. But the creepy part, we lived on the second floor. This happened when I was 14 and my little sister was 10. Our bedrooms were upstairs and our house faced a wooded area with a narrow path leading to a small creek. Our rooms were across the hall from each other, and our windows looked out over the same side, facing the woods. It was summer, and we were up late, each doing our own thing. I was playing on my laptop, and she was drawing in her room with music playing softly. Around 11 p.m., I heard her yell, "Close your blinds, right now!" I ran to my window confused and looked out, and I saw him. A man, standing completely still, right in front of my sister's window. But here's the thing. We lived on the second floor. No ladder, no balcony, just a straight drop to the ground below. And yet he was standing there, leaning forward, face pressed against the glass. I shouted and pulled my blinds down immediately. My sister was sobbing. She said she was drawing when she noticed a shadow in the window and thought it was just a tree branch. But then the shadow moved, and when she looked up, there he was, just staring. My parents weren't home, so I grabbed the phone and called 911. When the cops arrived 10 minutes later, there was no one in the yard, nothing near the windows, no ladder, no footprints in the dirt. But my sister swore what she saw, and I saw it too. Even the police didn't know what to say. They checked the attic, the roof, and even the nearby woods. Nothing. To this day, we don't know how he got up there or why he was watching us. But that night, I slept with the lights on, and I never opened that window again.
Thanks for listening, friends. Hit that notification bell for all future narrations. And if you've got a story of your own, send it to me at nikomaxasan@gmail.com. You might just hear it in the next video.